She secretly hid food from the dinner table every night just to survive. But the day the rich farmer discovered her secret, his decision shocked everyone. The sun was slowly setting behind the wide fields of the countryside ranch. The golden light covered the wooden farmhouse like a warm blanket. Inside the large kitchen, the smell of freshly cooked dinner filled the air. Maria stood quietly near the table. She worked as a maid on Mr. Thompson's ranch. The ranch was one of the richest farms in the entire region. Huge green fields stretched for miles, and dozens of workers lived and worked there. But Maria's life was very different from everyone else's. She was poor, lonely, and struggling to survive. Every evening she served dinner to the workers and the rich owner of the ranch, Mr. Robert Thompson. The table was always full of delicious food, bread, meat, vegetables, and warm soup. But Maria rarely ate enough. Most nights, she went to bed hungry. So she started doing something she never thought she would do. Every night after dinner, when everyone left the table, Maria quietly took a small piece of leftover bread or food, and hid it inside a small cloth in her pocket. She didn't steal large amounts. Just enough to survive. Her hands always trembled when she did it. Her heart beat fast, afraid someone might see her. But hunger was stronger than fear. For months, no one noticed. Until one evening, everything changed. That night the ranch workers finished dinner and left the kitchen laughing and talking. Maria slowly began cleaning the table. Her eyes quickly looked around the room. No one was there. She picked up a piece of bread and quietly wrapped it in her small cloth. Just as she placed it into her pocket, a deep voice spoke from behind her. "Maria, what are you doing?" Her heart nearly stopped. She slowly turned around. Standing in the doorway was Mr. Robert Thompson, the rich owner of the ranch. He had returned earlier than usual and had seen everything. Maria's face turned pale. Her hands began shaking. I'm sorry, sir," she whispered. Tears filled her eyes. "I wasn't stealing, She couldn't finish the sentence. For a few seconds, the room was silent. Mr. Thompson looked at the small cloth in her hand. Then he looked at her thin face and tired eyes. Something in his expression slowly changed. "Why?" he finally asked quietly. Maria lowered her head. "My little brother lives in town," she said softly. "He's sick, and we barely have food. I take just a little, so we can eat." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I was afraid to ask. I didn't want to lose this job." Mr. Thompson stood still. For years he had owned this massive ranch. Hundreds of meals were cooked here every week. Yet somehow, this young woman had been going hungry under his roof. He took a deep breath. Then he said something Maria never expected. "Come with me." Maria followed him nervously into the dining room. Mr. Thompson pulled out a chair. "Sit down," he said. She hesitated. "Sir, I can't." "Sit." Slowly, she obeyed. Mr. Thompson walked back to the kitchen and returned with a large plate of warm food. He placed it in front of her. "Eat." Maria stared at the plate in disbelief. Her hands trembled as she slowly picked up the bread. It had been a long time since she had eaten a full meal. Mr. Thompson watched quietly. Then he made a decision that changed everything. "Starting tomorrow," he said, "you will no longer hide food." Maria looked up nervously. "Every week, you will take a food basket home for your family." Her eyes widened. "And your brother," he continued, "I will send a doctor to see him." Maria could hardly believe what she was hearing. "But, why?" she whispered. Mr. Thompson looked toward the window, where the field stretched under the fading sunlight. "My mother was poor when I was young," he said quietly. "Many nights we survived on leftovers." He turned back to Maria. "No one on my ranch should ever feel that kind of hunger." Maria burst into tears. But this time, they were tears of relief. From that day forward, her life slowly changed. She no longer had to hide food. Her brother received medicine. And on the ranch, something unexpected happened. The workers began telling the story of the night the rich farmer discovered a maid hiding food. But instead of punishment, he chose kindness.